So welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to talk about hosting your students. So you've filled out all the forms and you've got a student that's been allocated to you. Now, when you're deciding what type of student would best fit your family, you can give the school a short list of what you are after. So you can say whether you want a short term or a long term, the age range that you're interested in, the gender, so male or female, and you can also have a little bit of a preference to the countries that they're coming from. So for us, we loved hosting Japanese students because our kids were learning Japanese in school. So that was a good cultural exchange for us. Um, Now, once you've been allocated a student, you will be told from the school that the student will arrive on this day at this time. So you don't need to pick them up from the airport. They have an airport transfer that will occur and they will arrive at your house. Your job is to get them a working mobile phone and a SIM card and make sure they have the correct items that they need for the first day of school. So organizing the phone can be quite difficult, so make sure that you maybe talk to the school or have an idea of how to set the SIM card up for them. Usually they come with their own device and it's just a matter of getting a prepaid SIM card set up. So that's kind of what you need to do before you drop them off. The other things that I recommend that you do is you show them how to use the public transport. So on their first day, you will take them to school and get them settled in, and then you need to train them into getting to school on their own. So making sure that they know how to walk the route. Maybe you might walk it with them a couple of times, or show them how to, use the public transport to get there. So that's the school. In the house, they have their own bedroom. They may share a bathroom, but they have access to a locking bathroom that they can use. They eat all the same meals. Sometimes the schools recommend to have separate food for the international students, particularly now that the cost of living has increased. You might have a shelf in the fridge that you say this is your fruit for the week and you take it from this shelf. We didn't like doing that. We liked to keep it all inclusive so that they didn't feel like they were excluded from the family in any way. So we kind of just kept our meals simple, and that's good for everyone. We don't need to make things overly complicated. In terms of chores, I've had students that have stayed with us that loved to help set the table, cook dinners. They always did their own laundry once I taught them how to do their own laundry, and they were always responsible for cleaning their own bedrooms. Occasionally, I would help them with things, but pretty much they were treated as though they could wash their own clothes, wash their own bedding, get themselves ready for school, and occasionally students would help with the dinner cleaning, packing away, and preparing. But I'm a little bit controlling. I don't particularly like people helping me in the kitchen. I like to do it myself. So that for us didn't really matter. Some of the students liked, we have a pet dog, a little poodle, doesn't let any hair out, so doesn't have any issues with causing allergies to students, but some of the students like to walk the dog because they hadn't had a dog where they came from, so having a dog was very exciting for them. In terms of activities in the house, so we both work. We have two young kids. We're very busy. If we're not at work, we're doing activities with the kids, taking them to different activities, or sitting around and watching TV and playing computer games together as a family unit. So some students liked that, but we also found some students needed more. So particularly towards the end of our hosting, we found that the students needed more than what they did when we first started hosting in 2015. So I think that's a change over, it was a fairly long period of time, but I think there's been a change in the students that come for homestays compared to what was original. So originally there were sisters, and they came from larger families and they were used to sharing the parents' attention. But as time went on, we found that the students were coming from their only children and or an only child, sorry, and they were expecting a lot of interaction with the parents particularly. So it really depends on the student that you end up with as to how much they want to be involved. In terms of annual holidays or holidays that you do with the families or events that you do with the families, the idea is that the student would come along with you. If you don't want them to come along with you, you just need to organise what they call emergency care. So it's where another host family will take an extra student for a night or two, so that way you're not looking after them during that period where you want to go away and not have them with you, or you want to go to do something and you don't want to bring them along with you. So there are options to not have them for a night or two, and they go to another house. Okay, so I think I've talked about when they arrive, their first day at school. I've talked about the house and how they use the house. A lot of people limit things, so they say your shower must be this amount of time and that sort of stuff. But we didn't like to do that because it put a negative spin on it. So we just kind of went with we explained to them how to do everything. And then if they're having excessive showers, then we would say to them, look, maybe try and limit your shower a little bit, and then we would put restrictions in. But first of all, we kind of gave people benefit of the doubt, and 90% of the time we didn't need to say anything because students had been told through the schools or through their parents before arriving to be conscious of these things. So it was never really an issue. There's lots of support provided from this school and also from EQI. So our first contact was always the homestay coordinators. If we had any issues, we went to them and they would help us out with it. So that's generally the hosting. I'll do another video that talks about more specifically issues that arise and things you can do to fix them. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you